right, we'll get started for tonight. Welcome everyone to our City of Gilbert regular council meeting. The date is May 14th of 2024 at 6:08 p.m. We'll take roll call. Councillor Potnin. Here. Councillor Heitzman. Here. Mayor Smith here. Councillor Polis. Here. Councillor Skinzich.
Here.
Also present is Attorney Lindsay, Sam Lodiger, Public Works, and Wendy, Campground Host, and Interim Clerk Mike Skinzich. Skirvik, I'm sorry.
I was going to say,
yes, I changed your name.
Well, my dad was here for a second.
Mike Skirvik. I stand. Yeah, I know. Okay, we do have a quorum. If I could have everybody please stand joining in us in a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And we, I believe, have one addition.
Item K would be quote the Great Lakes. And then we didn't have anything here for the Planning Commission relating to this public hearing, which again, you can either table that once we get done, or we can move to a vote. But we did have 3 building permits, 2 for a fence and 1 for a garage that the Planning Commission recommended approval on, and I missed putting it on the agenda. If you see the planning minutes, they're right here. I did them now in a different way. I talked to the mayor about this. I took their original agenda and then I put the minutes in blue. This is a really streamlined way to get things done. If you do it like this, instead of typing another page, it takes about a third of the time that it does to make normal minutes, and everything's really clear where it's there. So I would like those building permits to be added too, if that's okay with everybody.
Yes. So L for the building?
Yep.
Yes, it is. Where was it? I could have swore it was. Yeah, we'll add it to. Did we have on here, Mike, the discussion with the letter sent out last week with the inspection?
I did put it in, Joe had called me and asked me to put it on the agenda. I told you this morning, put it under the public input for that stormwater sump pump hookups. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I think there was some confusion. It was my understanding. It got sent out a couple of years ago. It was supposed to get a follow-up. It never happened.
Yeah.
So when they sent it again, everybody's like, what's this? So I know you had several people call you while the mayor was out of town. So I put it there just under public input.
Okay.
And I didn't have to make it about any particular party.
Right.
Because I think it was a pretty broad reaction.
Great Lakes,
yeah.
That was interesting.
Scoping the pipe.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll move to approve the additions then.
I'll support.
Moved by Councillor Polis, supported by Councillor Heitzman for approving the additions of the Great Lakes, scoping, the sewer lines, and the 3 building permits. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say none. Nay. None. Motion carries 5-0.
I would then make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Moved by Counselor Heitzman, supported by Counselor Pulis to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion?
I just had something on looking at the library board minutes, and they're talking about putting a vegetable garden on the front, and I don't think that's appropriate. I think flowers are enough. I looked at that vegetable garden last year, and it's pretty scraggly looking. I think flowers would be more, appropriate for a library sidewalk than a garden. That's just my view, and I don't know how you guys think about it, but I didn't like the look of that garden last year. I think it's, flowers are more appropriate for that application. I don't know what you guys think, but that's part of the consent agenda.
Yeah, and I guess I would take the library board and I didn't mind it.
Well, did you look at them last year?
I drive up and down Main Street all the time, Bob. I would let
Tomatoes
them,
are sickly looking.
they run a good program, and I would let them continue to run the program.
And
That's where
they
I'm at.
do let the public pick it. So,
Steal them.
yeah,
What's the
that
point?
she replied to him, yeah,
I
steal them.
don't think it's
But-
right, but whatever. That's how I feel about it.
I honestly don't remember where they were.
Either
Right
do
on
I.
the top, right when you come out of the library, right there. There's
Oh,
a
yeah,
railing
off the railing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, just a planter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. If people enjoy it, let them do it.
Well, they enjoy it. I don't know if people do.
We haven't heard any, nobody's
Yeah,
filed complaints
it's-
about
yeah.
it, so how about that?
Whatever.
Need a motion on the floor?
Yep, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 5-0. And then we will, at this time, recess our council meeting at 6:16 PM to go into a public hearing for the planning and zoning Dollar General site.
I'll move.
Support.
Moved by Counselor Pulis, supported by Counselor Heitzman. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None. Motion carries 5-0. And do we have anybody in the public that would wish to speak to council on the zoning ordinance? Please step up to the podium. Can you hit the button there? Hopefully that mic works.
Yep. Is my issue concerning zoning? Circle Drive?
No,
Okay.
not Circle Drive. This is for the Dollar General rezoning from mining 1 to commercial.
How long do we have to keep this open? 15 minutes? Is there a time frame, 10 minutes? I can't remember.
Say it 3 times and call her good.
Well, I think we should give
Give 15 only.
a short period of time, but it doesn't, I don't think that there's any necessarily set length. We just have to call and give everybody who wishes to participate.
Yeah.
Paul Skirbeck, 245 Highway 37. I'm in favor of the proposal and the zoning change, but I do have a question for council specific to the unofficial trail that has been in that area. And that has been unofficial, but is the city planning on doing better signage to get people to cross along Sherwood, up Dakota, and Summit to get to Circle K? It affects both the campgrounds, virtually every ATV user in town. Is there a plan, if this goes forward, to make improvements with that?
We have been looking into that.
There is a plan to fix that up regardless of this zoning has nothing to do with that plan. But Sam has had SEH down there, he's had MinDOT down there, he's had the DNR down there, the mayor's been down there. We've had lengthy discussions about it, and they're working on a proposal to just fix that area up where it's soft and muddy and to improve that trail there and eventually, hopefully, put it into the trail program, but that's really nothing to do with the public hearing.
But yeah, we're working on that as well.
Does anybody want any overview on the proposed change? It's pretty straightforward.
Straightforward, I don't think we need it. Yeah, I guess the only question, like, Paul brought up just now, he mentioned Dakota. This would be going over to Nevada, wouldn't it? Nevada, and then straight up to Summit to cross?
That's the original
Okay.
ATV route, and we'll keep that.
Yeah. That's what I thought,
Excuse
that's what
me.
I thought we were looking at, was Nevada. I know he had mentioned Dakota, but that's one street over.
Yeah,
Just so
but
we
you,
clarify.
from Dakota on the east side, you drive up along the restaurant from that trail
Oh,
that's in
Lower
front.
Dakota.
Yeah, Lower Dakota.
Gotcha, I was thinking.
Cross Summit to that first alley to the right, then Nevada up to Summit.
Okay.
We got to work on some signage for that, and signage for this newer, the existing trail that everybody's been using. Again, is there anybody that wishes to speak on zoning change for Dollar General?
I guess I'll move to close the open meeting.
I'll support.
Moved by Counselor Polis, supported by Counselor Heitzman to close the open public meeting at 6:21 PM. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 5-0. And we will reconvene our regular city council meeting at 6:21 PM.
I'll make that motion to reconvene.
Yep, sure.
Support.
Motion by Counselor Heitzman, supported by Counselor Polis to reopen our regular council meeting at 6:21. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 5-0. And we'll move on for public input.
Leo Skirbick from Water Night. I didn't see anything on the agenda for water light recommendations. I wonder if when you do the advisory boards, if I could address that for just a minute at that time.
Sure. Now you, please come up. Up and down.
Okay. My name's Sharon Sturl. I was here in September regarding my property on Circle Drive. My attorney just sent out a letter, and your city employee was supposed to email it to each and every one of you, and I'm just here to see if you got it or not.
I don't, I've been gone.
And Mayor, I can speak to it. The letter has been received.
I'm going to meet with the mayor and our interim administrator, and there'll be a response out by probably Thursday this week.
All right, because the 10 days is up on Friday, and I'm not going to wait any longer. Sam, I appreciate your effort with the property, but the pigeons enjoyed the seed, but it's just as barren as ever. Nothing's growing.
Yeah, I'm working on campground this week. I got some stuff we wanted to finish up, and then I was going to start property up there, get the grass seed growing and
It's, that dirt is hard as a rock again, you know, it's just, it's cracking, it's, you know, it's,
we'll get grass growing, I promise you.
yeah, but there's gonna be more to it than that. And we will be waiting, Brian, because we've been waiting since, I think, November. It's been 9 months, pretty near, and so I'm not gonna wait anymore, so. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other public input?
Hi, Pete Micheletti. I just had a question about the sump pump. I had my inspection done on 8/24/21, and it gives a description of what I have. And at that time, nothing was said about what I was supposed to do. As far as I know, I was going to be contacted. Then I got the letter stating that I had to put it in, which is fine. I have no issue in putting it in. What I'm looking for is just a couple more months, maybe till the 1st of September, to get it done.
We are gonna discuss that further.
Perfect.
So, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I really think that's all the calls that I received at the office, and maybe Joe too, were related to people having it originally done, and some didn't know if they needed to take action, and some didn't know what action needed to be taken.
Correct.
So now that we know, and I think that everybody on the council seems to be a little more flexible, as long as someone comes to us with a plan and is moving forward to fix our I&I issues, we're probably in a good spot. So it's up to the council to decide if you want further action, but, you know, that's, when people have called, I've explained it to them that, you know, nobody's trying to force it, we're just trying to get it done, and if they talk with us, we'll probably be flexible.
Yes. Should we
So-
do a timeline or
What I was thinking is we would, because of all this confusion and things that got lost or dropped in the turnover, is we would offer a 6-month extension on the I&I stuff so that people can get, I've had people call me about they've had bids and stuff done, but they've had other things that have come up that have cost them that they don't have the money right now, which I understand that's always the case in many places, but I think if we agree to give them a 6-month extension, which is till October basically, that gives them flexibility to get the stuff done, and they are working on it. So I would like to make a motion on the table to extend the I&I for 6 months without charging the $100 fee. We gotta show them we're working with them, they're not just.
So
I
then if it's
agree.
not
We
done
dropped
by
it.
then the $100 fee goes on?
What?
Is that what you're gonna have in your letter?
Anybody got any thoughts on that?
I guess I have one question on this. Are you getting rid of the $100 fee for everyone, or just those that are showing progress? That have a plan, that have some sort of,
Interest in rectifying the situation.
yeah, or are we just going away with it again?
I would ask that we have Brian address that too, because I had somebody come in for a meeting with Ty and myself saying that they didn't have due process and the charging of fees illegal. I don't know where all that lands, but I didn't write the letter, but it's in there. And if it's something that you either want to remove or make sure that we're doing it properly, I would defer to Brian to see how that should be handled.
Well, right now, is the charge, $100 charge still being on? It is?
Yes.
It is? Okay.
Approximately how many?
On only the ones that did not have the inspection.
right?
Right.
So this, when we sent those letters out to those people, there's 24, I believe, on the list right now. 20 to 24 on the list. I think when we sent out the first letter, probably, I think it was the beginning of May, end of April, we sent it out to 24 first. and stating that they have not had a sump pump inspection, that they're getting charged $100. You know, so just, you know, make sure they realize that when we went and put it on everybody's door. And I talked to Mike about doing that also for the ones that, had a sump pump inspection, but didn't had a non-compliance. So then there was 104 of those, I believe. And that's when we put those on everybody's door that had one, stating that they had 2 months to comply and everything had to be done by July 1, else they would start getting a $100 fine. So that's when everybody started calling that they didn't realize that they were non-compliant. And some of them did call in stating that there were some on a non-compliant list that were actually compliant. So that was kind of nice. We got some of those rectified too. So, but I haven't gone through the list yet to find out exactly how many came on and how many came on. But yeah, initial question is there's 20 to 24 that are currently getting charged.
And if I remember correctly, no one was going to get charged if they had their sump pump inspections scheduled. We weren't going to do it at that point.
Right.
If you didn't have it done and nothing scheduled, then you were going to get that billed.
After 2 years, the ones that did get it inspected and were non-compliant, after 2 years, they were going to start to get a $100 charge after 2 years. And that was, they say that's coming out July 1.
Okay.
2 years from when the initial 2-year grace period.
And a lot of the
issue comes in, I believe, is some kind of, there was questions about being notified, not being notified.
And that's the confusion that I've been fielding, is they were waiting for this correspondence letter saying, what am I supposed to do? I've never been notified, so that's
where the extra 6 months comes in.
yeah. But
I don't think the $100 was ever meant to be punitive. I mean, it's designed to encourage corrective behavior.
And it did.
And it did.
And if people are starting to, have a plan, that's great. It's the people that aren't, that we
Right.
still need corrective behavior for.
Right.
I think the motion would have to represent the ones that have, had the inspection.
I guess,
But the list is so vague, we don't know which is correct or which is not. Like you said, there's some on there that weren't compliant, that were actually compliant.
Well, we got a pretty good list. I mean, we do, right now, we got a complete, we're straightening out.
So the ones that haven't done it yet at all, or haven't done anything, they would not apply to the 6-month extension.
No, they would still be getting.
But we do have a list of those people that have signed up for the inspection. So
Yeah, we also.
the word's out
We got
there.
another inspection on the 22nd, which would be next Wednesday. That I think there was probably 10 people on that list that were getting inspected. So
Yep.
it's another 10, and then I know I've met and talked with a few here and there about not knowing, but they are working on it.
Counselor Pulis, would your motion be such that even if they were on the list for never having an inspection, and if they get an inspection and a plan, then they would quit being charged that until they had their 6-month
Right, then they would qualify for the 6-month extension. I think that's more than fair.
Okay.
But if they choose to neglect it altogether, then no, that would not be how it goes.
I would support that then, as long,
Yeah.
doing it under that, where,
Okay.
like Mr. Micheletti comes up, I've got a plan, can you just give me a little more time to do it?
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
let's work with everybody.
Yep.
But to just avoid it altogether and hope it goes away.
Yeah, I should have made that motion a little more clear, but yeah, I understand your point.
I added
Yeah,
that
so-
to it then.
So yeah, that would be the motion, and if they're working on being compliant and on the list for the inspection, then they would qualify with the 6-month extension. If they're refusing to do anything, then it doesn't work. Right? Because if they're refusing to not do it, then they're just not doing it.
I'll clean that up.
everybody understand that? So motion by Counselor Polis to extend the duration for 6 months for the I&I inspection if you are on the list and have a scheduled, planned to have it inspected. And if you do not, and are not on the list, you do not qualify for that inspection. So for those that have had the inspection and need more time, they are granted the 6 months. Is that correct?
Yes.
That cover it?
Yep.
Mayor, if I can.
Yes.
Would it be correct to say that just to kind of clarify the record, the intent of the motion is to grant a 6-month extension to come into compliance if you've had your inspection? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
Real clear, Brian, it's good.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure. We'll
So
go with
If
that.
you have it and you sign up for it, then you would qualify for the reprieve.
Correct.
Okay.
But isn't there another part to that, where even if you've had it, and you know you need to make improvements to your system, you need to have some sort of game plan coming up?
Correct.
And that's where Mr. Micheletti comes in, says, hey, I know I have to do something. I need 4 more months.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. You give them the 6 months you're speaking of.
So if they come in with a game plan that they have the corrective action, they will be granted that time.
I guess that's it's a little bit harder on us, because if we have to keep track of who comes in, they would have to call us. If they don't call us by June 1st, then they're gonna get the $100 fine.
Everybody gets it unless you come in and say, hey, this is my documentation, or this is my plan, I'm gonna fix it, I'm gonna do this, or however that may be.
So that'll be the correspondence to anybody coming in or any further complaints, that you need to have a game plan, then you qualify for the 6 months. Because my guess is most people are gonna come and report. The ones that are gonna totally ignore it aren't gonna come in, and we'll know who those guys are after 6 months.
Does that
So-
seem fair to you?
Yeah, very fair, yeah.
Okay.
I just, a couple more months would be good.
Right.
But, yeah.
Come and talk to the city.
Yeah, so
That's the
anybody
main thing.
with I&I issues or any confusion, please come to the city. We'll clean it up and explain it the best we can.
And I think
So-
all of us are willing, as a council, to work
Yeah.
with everyone, so it's just something we gotta get done.
Yeah. And I understand there's been a lot of confusion to it and a lot of non-communication, so we'll work with everybody. So motion by Councilor Pulis. Was there a second?
Jeremy?
Seconded by Councilor Skinsich to approve this extension under those circumstances. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 5-0. Excellent. And we'll move on to the reports. Mayor and council, I have nothing to report at this time, other than I wish everybody a happy summer and be safe, and that's about it. Councilor Potnin?
I don't have anything tonight.
Councilor Heitzman?
Mosquitoes are coming, go give blood. That's it.
That's all?
That's it.
Thank you. Councilor Pulis?
I don't have anything this time.
Thank you. Councilor Skinsich?
Just one quick thing. I live kind of on the edge of town, up from the Holiday gas station there, and I've caught a fox running through my yard the last 2 weeks, off and on, so just keep your pets safe. I've seen a few pictures of a bear or two
Yeah.
on some outlying houses next to wooded areas, so just be aware. The wild animals are out there.
And pertaining to garbage,
Yeah.
try to secure it the best you can in a garage or shed or something, because if the bear smells it, they're gonna come knocking on your door. The critters will chase any garbage down too, so be diligent with your garbage.
Before you continue on, Mr. Mayor, are you done, Mr. Skinsich?
I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Mr. Earl had come back to the podium for public input.
Well, I just had these pamphlets to hand out to you guys for what is going on. So if somebody could give these to you.
If you could just leave them with Mike and we'll grab them, thank you.
And I have one more question.
She had come to the podium when we were talking about the pump.
This has to do with the 2022A debt that we have on our utility bills. How do you base our payment? I mean, how do you decide who's going to pay? Because we have a neighbor who has 2 separate meters on his house and his garage, and now he pays $14 for each meter.
And I believe that was one per household, correct?
Each water meter,
That's why I'm asking.
each water
Each.
meter.
So that's water, not electric?
They're both electric.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so it's one electric meter. So have them contact City Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, for the multiple meters electric, we're charging per one meter
Per household and not one per meter.
Correct.
Yeah,
What's your
somebody
charge?
contacted us about a week ago, and looked into it, and Sam looked into it, and it's one meter, not, 4 or 5 chargers. There's people who had old duplexes, a separate
Correct.
garage, there's just some reasons people had more meters than normal.
But
Yeah.
they should be charged the base fee for their electric, though.
Yeah, for the 1 meter.
No,
Per meter.
per meter.
Yeah, no, there's.
Per meter.
This is the only, we're talking about
Yeah.
22A bond. That's all.
Yeah, that's water bond. The 2022 is just for water. That's if you have a water meter, then that comes into play.
Then why is it on his garage
Well, that
utility
should be
bill
taken
too?
off then. If it's on his electric bill, it should not be there. It should just be on his water meter, not on his electric.
It's on both his bills. Let's just put it that way.
Well,
So-
it should
He
be
should-
taken off one of the electric ones then.
He should come down to the city and get that straightened
Okay,
out.
Yes.
I'll have him do
I
that.
believe it was corrected already.
Alrighty, thank you.
May have been corrected.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry for the interruption, Mr. Mayor.
No. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to reports from staff. City Attorney, Lindsay.
Thank you, Mayor. No formal report, but I will field questions if the council has them.
Thank you. Chief Teacher.
I've got this evening.
Thank you. Public Works Operation Director, Sam.
I just have a couple items here. One was to talk about maybe putting together a hiring committee for our new water operator. I believe those applications are the last one we due around the 20th of May, so I didn't know if we wanted to put together a hiring committee or what the plan was for hiring a new operator.
Well, I know if you counseled back, we approved, Jill presented that hiring committee, that would be the supervisors, myself, interim clerk, and I believe Jeremy.
Okay, and that's fine with me.
So if,
If that's who we want to go, if you guys are okay with it, that's totally fine. And Trudy would be on it and stuff. That's all on that one. Just so I know.
yeah,
Also.
Would you have applicants or what?
I have not looked, I think we closed it up, we had running about 3 weeks since we closed that. Yeah. I don't know if any have come in or not. but-
I haven't seen anything come in. I posted it with the league. I went to Minnesota Rural Water. I contacted Vermillion College. And we have 2 newspapers that's being advertising. So we've cast a pretty wide net. We haven't seen anything come in yet, but hopefully they will. So that's where we're at.
The other one is, we've got a meeting with, SCH tomorrow, new water plant stuff. It's gonna be a review of the Ballville Consulting Group that they hired for this historical project. It's at 10 o'clock tonight. Other than that, it's just ongoing stuff. We've been doing some work down at the campgrounds. All fields are being used now. The Rockridge baseballs in all fields, so it's good. Hopefully we'll be addressing these potholes in the near future in the plan, so.
Yep.
Sanitary, we turned the water on yesterday, so.
The potholes you're talking about at the campground?
What's that?
Potholes at the campground, is that what you're?
No, there and all over the city streets, there's a bunch of them all over, so.
Have you ever reached out to the county on Indiana?
I haven't not yet. I have not, but we'll get those potholes too. That's all I got. I don't see anything else.
Excellent. Thank you. Move on to campground host, Wendy.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Councilman. I had a slow week, as you can see by the report, but it's May. And I'm looking forward to a busy weekend coming up. I've got only about 30 campers coming in, so that's all right for me. And of course, Memorial Weekend, we're full. I did get the sign made up for the dump station for the $5 fee. And I'm just waiting on the contraption that goes in the door to come in so that we can start collecting the fee for dumping. But right now, I haven't been charging anyone because, first of all, I don't have a sign that says so. And second of all, if they dump, they've got no place to put their money. So, if the office is closed. So anyway, they've been just dumping. So, I'm hoping to get all that taken care of as soon as possible. Yeah, Sam and them are busy at the campground. They are improving the new sites quite a bit and trying to get nice grass growing in there. And we haven't been able to mow because it's been too wet. But we started mowing today and we're gonna get it all mowed up this week. So, other than that, I don't have anything else. Do you have any questions for me?
Got one thing, Mayor. Wendy, you talked about the dumping. Is there a separate hose and stuff? Were we gonna do water there also? Or something like that?
They have, at the dump station, there's a hose for rinsing only.
Okay.
It's not potable water there.
Right.
If they wanna get water, for their camper, on the end of the garage, there is a spigot. And I've ordered 2 white water hoses, so it's just specifically for filling camper.
Yeah.
You know, because I use the ones for watering the garden and everything. And, but I want some just for filling campers, so there's no cross-contamination or anything.
Right. Just making sure that we're going forward with that, because we were talking about doing both, having the
Yeah.
waste and then
Yeah.
a fee for both.
Yeah, well, if the camper's camping there, I don't charge them a fee.
Okay.
Only if they come in, say they're going somewhere else, and they want to fill up with water, then they can do that. Then there's a $5 fee.
Okay.
So, oh, one more thing. Like the library, I have decided that instead of flowers in my tires, I'm creating a community garden so that the campers can come. If they want to pick a tomato for their lunch, they can come do that, or a cucumber, or something like that, rather than the flowers. I thought that would be very useful. So, but that's it.
Excellent.
Well, you know how I feel about gardens, but whatever. I'm gonna be outvoted, so why even say anything?
I was gonna tell her I think it's a great idea. So there you go.
I like
The
cucumbers.
thing is, yeah, if they're kept up, it looks.
Yeah,
Most gardens aren't.
and and I agree with Bob on that, with the upkeep on the garden. And maybe you can get some campers to help you with that, but I know they can be messy with plants dying and so.
I've been gardening for 40 years, so I know how to take care of a garden.
Excellent. Then there's no worries. Thank you.
I guess as long as we're on campground and Sam's right there, coming up with a long-term plan for the asphalt in that campground has to be a priority. It's, oh, thanks.
Yes.
New business B. Hey, okay, thanks, Sam.
We agree.
All right, I'll shut up.
All right, we'll move on to the advisory boards. Leo?
Here. I just wanted to bring up on, I believe it was the March minutes, the Water and Light Board recommended to change your structure on the tipping fee on the garbage. Now currently, I believe you're all aware of that we went from $20 to $40 for the commercial businesses, and we're fine with that. And then we, not knowing any better or whatever you want to call it, we went for the tipping fee from $12 to $24. Well, that's creating a ruckus, or I'm sure you've had some feedback on comments. So the Water and Light Board recommended in our minutes 1 or 2 meetings ago, and I thought it was going to come up this meeting to act on it. We recommended to change the tipping fee from $24 to $10, because I've had at least one comment that their commercial bill now is over $200. And being what it is, you know, we're looking at operating in the red again this year unless we do some more changes for the commercial garbage system. So at this time, we recommended on our minutes to change the tipping fee from $24 to $10 per month, $10 per tip. And if you take any one location, do the math in a hurry, it adds up pretty fast, even at $10. So that's our recommendation. Hopefully the council can act on it, because it was in the minutes. I thought it would come up, and I didn't see anything on here, so I would like to address that. If you have any questions, I'm free to answer.
Yeah, that was my fault, Leo. I talked about it, I know, to Hannah and stuff, and I just didn't proceed with it coming in front of the council.
And I thought it would be good.
I dropped the ball on that one, yeah, it should have been done. But it can be put on this next bill if we approve it tonight.
Yes.
To reduce it back to, and we even talked about 12, because that was the original lift.
Yeah, the original was 12. We just thought with a simple number.
I don't know if we want to go to 10 or just go back to 12 with the original.
Easier math, I guess.
I think we should go back to the original price.
To 12.
12.
Right.
That's what I would say, 12 and 6, right? Is that, are you, because we raised both rates on the.
We doubled both rates.
Yeah, we doubled both the 90s and the 300s, yes.
When you double the tipping fee, it adds up to over $200 per.
Yep.
And that gets a little steep, is what I'm saying.
So,
We got to be aware of what that's doing to our,
I was just wondering.
because we got 50 customers, commercial.
I guess we can't do that tonight, they'll vote on it
No,
because we don't.
we have to
but-
have the
But if we get
process.
it for the 28th, I believe it can be on the billing for June.
Yeah, you can retroactive it if you want.
Right, yeah.
My apologies too, I've seen it, had the discussion.
Yeah.
But we've got a lot of
Right,
other
yeah,
things we've been looking
I
at.
blame it on myself, I knew about it,
understand.
but I've kind of spaced
I
out.
just thought at some point we need to bring it up and act on it. Thank you.
Yeah,
I guess I have one question then.
yes.
So you want to go, are you talking 12 now? Is that what we're going to go to? What
I
it
think
was
12
originally?
is, yeah,
was for 10, but whatever.
yeah,
So that's 12 per dump for all commercial?
yeah, per lift, yeah.
And then residential is still 12 per month?
No.
Is that what it
40,
was?
No, residential.
40.
16.
Residential's the same.
Residential stays the same, this is just
Yeah.
commercial.
This is just
Yeah.
what we
The base fee for commercial was $20, we went to 40. We doubled that.
Right.
So then the lift fee, we doubled it from 12 to 24, too much. So we're backing that back down to 12, what it originally was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we should change the 90-gallon ones too, because the 300 was 12 originally, and then the 90s were they 4 or were they 8 or something?
Yeah, just double the base, whatever the base was, and just leave the lift part alone.
Just so
Yeah.
We'll have it on the next.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep,
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying, the two different size cans.
right.
There's
And we
very few
doubled them.
90s out there, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks for bringing that to our attention, Leo. Any other advisory boards? And we'll move on to the interim clerk, Mike.
I think I told you everything here except for, we talked about the county waste fee deal and transferring that and having it put on property taxes instead of the city trying to collect that from everybody. That's been taken care of. I followed up with the county, I have everything in file, emails documenting that it's happened, and it will be on next year's property taxes.
Okay.
So this year will stay the status quo, they
Yeah.
can't go back, so. But it is all handled and done. And then the congressional spending thing, I've talked to all of our congressional leadership and our Senate too, and gone through this, worked with Mike Larson from SEH. Our problem with the whole thing is that we don't have a project ready to do an application for the wastewater treatment plant. We already have state bonding and PFA money. So if we go and muddy the water by seeking additional funding, which we probably don't need, we're gonna end up being in a worse position than we are. So when we do a comprehensive plan, if you guys are working on something like that for streets and projects that you'd like to see the city work on, we should have a couple of top priority projects with a design and a cost estimate so that we can work with this next year and put it in place. And that's really what it takes. You can't just wish, you have to have a plan.
Yep.
And so that's kind of where.
Shovel ready.
So I want to know. And we also had something come back from the state for your community center, where we were on a bonding bill for doing some stuff there. I had to write a letter and follow it up, they had a template, but I took care of that, so those things are all in motion. But to move this forward for next year's congressionally designated spending requests, we need a couple of projects in the loop, and whether that's street, water, wastewater. We have wastewater issues. I know SEH is looking at that now, trying to come up with some proposals. We're still in potential litigation with Stantec, so wherever that shakes out, we need a plan to move forward with this for the next time there's an opportunity to apply, so.
So SEH is working on that plan yet?
That's my understanding. I've not personally discussed the wastewater treatment plant with them, but it's my understanding that they are looking at it and bringing in one of their specialists to try to determine what's wrong with our facility
Yeah.
and what can be done to improve it. So
Okay.
that's where we're
Yeah, I know they had the inspection, Sam. Did we ever get any results from that? From the wastewater treatment plant when SEH walked through it, yeah.
Yeah, nothing lately. I did mention to Matt that if I think her name is Susan, I can't remember, but she did come in. He was in touch base with her and find out if she looked into it or looked at the information that we gave her. So I haven't heard anything.
Perfect, so,
And I guess what I would ask is that before we have a update on your total comprehensive plan, that any council member or member of the community that has a project that they think is a high priority for the city, that you bring it to us so that we can create an agenda for when we have that meeting and then come up with a plan and some projects that we want to work on.
And
Yeah.
I did sit down with Matt here, it was a couple weeks ago, and then kind of showed him my high priority stuff. We can map it out and get back to me.
Yep. No, I think that's a good idea to sit down and come up with that contingency plan. Okay, and then the grilled cheese galore, that permit was approved.
That permit was approved. I looked through they brought it to my attention what the ordinances say, and the ordinances say that the council can come up with a application process, and then if they bring that in, then it can be approved by your clerk, administrator, or whatever. Everything's in order. I checked all the details out, so they wanted to get it approved, we approved that. And that's the way it is. If the council would like to do it differently, we can, but based on the language in the ordinance, that's how it was acceptable to move forward. So that's been done.
I think I saw it down there last weekend.
Yep.
There was a pretty good line standing in front of it. I didn't try it.
Good
but-
turnout, Dylan?
Yeah, it's going good so far. So
Good,
It's nice to be a part of the community with it.
Awesome.
good.
So is that a one-time fee that we charge for those?
My
truck-
understanding it
Food
is, it's a one-time fee for the
And that
year.
covers the whole year?
Yep,
How much do we charge?
$100, I believe.
Yeah.
So we agree.
Okay, I just, I guess if you use it one time, that's kind of steep, but if you use it 15 times, that's really cheap. I mean,
We
you know.
don't have many coming.
Yeah, and we've never had really many come to town in the past. Last year, I think we had 3.
Crawl for the Cure, did you have any down there?
Yeah, there was a
And then
few
that
down
dance,
there.
And then that dance after, or during that time?
During the dance, I think they stayed down there. But then we had the one that tried parking right here in our
Right, yeah.
parking lot that I
Right.
asked to move because it wasn't the best location,
Yeah.
but they paid, and then one other one. So it's not like we have them.
Yeah, I guess if it comes to a point where you start to get a lot of them, maybe we have to look at the fee a little bit more, maybe you charge for 3 times a year so much or whatever, something like that. But,
Yeah, yeah.
I guess let it be for now.
I like food trucks.
Yeah,
We
there's,
should have a
yeah,
festival,
they're-
we should have a big thing, all food trucks.
Virginia does.
Hey,
Exactly.
Jan, it's been discussed and mentioned to have them.
There's getting to be more and more of them around. It'd be nice to have.
Yep.
I vacation in Portland once in a while, and they have I don't know, it's gotta be at least a fourth of a city block, and it's nothing but food trucks. And there's gotta be 75 little vendors
Virginia
in there.
does theirs.
And it's fantastic.
That'd be fun.
It's just amazing.
So Land of the Loon charges $700
And that's a
for a
one
food
weekend
truck,
thing.
for a one
For a
weekend.
weekend.
$700.
They have a lot.
Yeah.
You gotta sell a lot of food to make that up.
Land of Loon is $250 for a food vendor booth for the weekend.
Now,
I was told 700 by someone that had it there last year.
I just got approved for it.
Oh, really? 250? Well, then I was.
it might be
I was given the
location.
wrong information
It
then.
could have been last year, but this
Right.
year it's $250.
Yeah.
Well,
That makes more
I
sense.
know Land of the Loon's been hurting in the past years. The people just aren't going. So they might have
So maybe
lowered
that's
their
a way
rates.
of getting people to come back as far as the vendors.
Yeah.
I don't know, but,
What you gotta do.
yeah.
Yep, exactly. All right, anything else, Mike?
No, thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to old business. Wastewater treatment plant. Waiting for direction on Stantec from council.
Thank you, Mayor. So the update I can give is brief. So our last action consideration of whether or not we wanted to sign or agree to a general release, we indicated no, we're not in agreement with the general release. I know that Mr. Leone has been provided some additional information, and I set to meet with him shortly to discuss moving forward on this. So we may have a lead on somebody who could do an inspection and give us some advice. We're looking at it.
Excellent. Thank you. Any further discussion, council? We'll move on to the storage container.
In many ways, it's probably just informational. The last time we met, we talked about that, if that person's permit had expired, we asked Attorney Lindsay to write a letter. He's taking care of that. We will send that out. So I don't believe any further action is needed. We can take care of it now. It's been completed. So that's where that was at.
Excellent. And then,
Oh, on that note, I guess there's a couple of storage containers in Sparta now too, Ty. Manus,
And they didn't get a conditional use permit?
no.
all right, we'll move on to the Splash Town contract.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
So, yeah, in the packet is an updated, last year when we did this, we did it on just a general license agreement. I updated that license agreement. I was missing from my notes just the yearly charge for that license, so the cost of it. But then also, in addition to last year's license, there is some language related to safety and water levels. And the potential that if the water levels aren't adequate, and the city determines that it's a safety concern, the city has the right to close off those operations and basically suspend or eliminate that.
So they came in and met with Sam and myself, and Sam told them because of the amount of garbage that was generated there last year, you would expect them to have their own garbage container this year. They agreed to that. The fee you charged them last year was $100. There's probably some wiggle room there if you want to raise that fee. Brian left it open on the contract, so if somebody makes a motion to approve the contract, we could raise that to, 200 or 300, whatever you're comfortable with. Sam, in our discussion, we seem to be okay with bumping it up a little from where it's at. And they also wanted to be able to have their little tent canopy there to have people have like a birthday party and to be able to eat at a table there. They'd have table and chairs, and that little tent canopy within the area that Sam thought was designated for their use.
It was right behind their building, where they had that portable building. That's where he said that's the only spot we would have this little tent, and it was a 10 by 20, he said. It's one of those pop-up ones that are a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and he won't be renting any more out, because that was my understanding, is he was gonna rent those out
Yeah, it's
to go.
just one, and I don't know how hard it is to add language to the contract. If you could just add something and it's in a specific spot, under that language, if the council will allow that, and then also they said they were going to, we gave them an option of possibly using the boat landing for an entrance, and they just rather use their own spot. They would just dig into the bank a little bit. They said it was easy enough to slough off the slope so they can get their dock adequately available there.
They're gonna do that by hand?
That's what they said they
No.
did last year, some of it.
I talked to them since then, and they were bringing them
Backhoe?
a little backhoe, a mini excavator.
Well, I don't
They
know.
could do it by hand, but he thinks.
Yeah, but do we want them starting a monkey with excavating our beach hill? I don't know,
No.
I mean, it's-
Yeah, I don't think so
No.
either,
The
yeah.
city,
But-
Yeah.
If we're talking about digging into the bank, we may want to see if that has shoreline impact implications and whether or not we might have no issues there.
Not because it's an intact bank pit.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah, it's
DNR
nothing,
regulated,
it's,
yeah.
I guess
But still,
yeah,
yeah,
if
I wouldn't
you're
want
there
'em.
and everything kind of goes through you, Sam, then I guess I would be easier about it, but I'm really not comfortable about somebody renting a little spot on our beach or point there and excavating it.
I would not want to be there.
Yeah.
But I would not want to be there, but I would like to see what their plan is what I would want to see. Before they, if they plan to dig it back, where their little entrance was, 2 feet, is that all? Is that good enough? I mentioned to them about a floating dock, maybe that would be, where they could step down, but I don't know what their plan is, how much they want to excavate
I guess until they come out with, this is what we want to do, I can't support it.
I don't either.
That part of it anyway.
Yeah.
Going to show up, but.
I say till they have a plan, we table this and there is no splash town until
When-
we figure this out.
When were they looking to open, June 1st?
They were looking to open, June 1st. They were also looking to start setting up the last week of May, so it'd be the 27th through I think the 27th is Monday, so.
As far as this goes, I'm fine with everything except for just that excavating part. So I mean, if we come up with a dollar amount, we think so, okay, I'm for it. I just want that part, I want us to use caution there.
Yeah, I don't want them to have a free reign of digging up the,
No, we don't want that.
And Sam suggested several ideas to them. They felt they could just slope it off where they're at, and it would be good enough, so if you want to see that, some kind of drawing or whatever, I don't know how we get that from them, but we can certainly do that.
And even some wordage on sort of coming to a meeting and saying, hey, this is what we're planning on doing.
Yeah.
But I don't like somebody bringing their own construction equipment in and start ripping, the operator, gonna end up in a pit or whatever.
Yeah.
This is just not a good deal,
I
no.
think there is probably in the city policies, there's probably like $1 million liability insurance that they would have to have, if they're operating equipment. You might have that insurance with what they have. But
Just to have
Yeah,
this,
still,
like you
it's-
say, they're gonna have.
it's digging up that, because once they're done, now we're left with that hole.
Do we have the
And-
equipment that we could do that for them and charge them, bill them accordingly?
No.
No,
I
not getting into that.
We don't-
on that path.
Why don't they just use the boat landing access? It's so simple. They can just walk off from there.
They didn't think that was gonna work because of how their site is set up. It's not easily
They can't turn it.
turn it, or it's, each piece of equipment is kind of set up to a plan, and they set their perimeter barriers or their weights to that plan, and it's hard for them, or it sounds like they couldn't just change one perimeter, whatever you want to call it, to move so that they can access it from different ways.
But don't they swim to that splash town? Don't they
do a little
swim?
bit. It might be too far, maybe they're worrying it's too far of a swim for the younger kids that are going on it, might deter them a little bit.
Didn't they have like an inflatable dock that kind of went out to it last year?
Yeah.
So they don't have to swim necessarily to it. There's an inflatable
They were
walkway.
still talking about that dock.
Yeah.
I've never seen the thing, but.
Yeah, they did have something there, or maybe it was sitting in the water for kids to climb up, but I think if they did that, it would be too far, a further swim from the boat landing is.
Yeah, it's
It would be
a
a little bit further.
little bit of a swim.
Compared to where it was just 50
Right.
feet before.
Yeah.
So what's the answer? Do they have to get a contractor to come in and we approve a contractor? I
I think they should
Go on
come up
site
with a good
or-
idea and what kind of piece of equipment they're gonna use, because if they're thinking they're gonna go down that little embankment with a little mini excavator and dig that out, I would proceed with caution.
Or turning on the
again, what's
asphalt.
their idea of digging it out?
Granted, rubber
Are they gonna
tracks.
dig
Yeah.
15 feet back to
doesn't
make it
sound
level
good.
right down with, no.
It would be just nice to talk to them on the
Yeah.
plans, and like I say, I was hoping they were here. I mentioned in the meeting, they show up for public input, you need, make sure you're here, so.
I'd put a motion on
Well,
the table this
yeah.
until they have a plan in order for this. That's my motion.
We don't need a motion, we can just table it.
Or just table it,
You're
yeah.
tabling everything, not,
You want to do the
Everything right
license
now.
part though? Or what?
Huh?
You want to do the license part, or maybe they won't need the license if they can't have access to it?
Right.
I don't know.
That's, I guess, up to them at that point, but
Maybe we should table it till, well, if they want to
I'd
get
like to
that.
at least see this go through, so if they want to, they can get their,
they can
start getting their
work.
stuff set up.
And if they hand dig it to, or fill it to, like Sammy brought some sand to them, and if that works to build up, at least they can move forward. But
But them, they were originally talking about hand digging it, and, you know, are you willing to let Sam oversee that, or you'd rather you stay out of it? I mean,
That part of it, I guess I personally would like to see what I have them come here or whatever and kind of explain what they're thinking or give us a game plan, for me, anyway,
yeah, I think we need to see something.
for that part.
Couple pictures, a small diagram, something,
Yeah.
just anything.
He had nice pictures about the whole,
Yeah.
Sure.
We're
Plaything
not
down
asking
there.
for a great big blueprint. We just want a scratch pad of an idea of what's gonna happen.
To help them along, can we make that or amend the motion for Sam and Mike to approve it? Because they want to start the 28th or 27th.
So contingent on, make the motion to allow this to happen contingent on Sam and Mike's approval.
I'd be good with that.
I'll make
about-
that motion.
What, before you do that,
Then that's just for the rearranging of the shoreline.
Yeah,
You know,
just the
that's not Just the
shoreline.
bank.
that part of it, would we want to have them put some sort of deposit down? Where it would be refundable at the end of the season as long as our shoreline is kind of put back, so it's not a disaster area per se? Granted, it shouldn't be because you're going to approve that, they're going to,
I don't think they'd put it back.
Now, I know they left that sand and it's not terrible. It's still got the nice landing down, but now you got a foot drop from the ledge to the water. So-
It's not anything they did, it's just.
No, it's just a water drop.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe they could just still use it, just build a different dock. Or design the dock different because the slope going down to that ledge is the same. And-
They felt the floating dock that they had, they could move the floats from here to there and make it work with their existing plan. So, and I've never seen the thing, I have no idea how they're doing it, but I looked at the bank there and thought this kind of a billy goat entrance, but they felt that it was pretty good, so.
And it worked for them last year, yes. But
and I guess, as Counselor Heitzman said, I guess is leave it up to Sam and Mike for an approval if they come with a game plan of some sort.
What would you want to charge them this year?
yeah, that's,
They're going to take care of their own garbage?
Yeah, well, it's up to council, if that's, I gave them two options, whether we up the fee to include garbage or up, charge them for a garbage can. They were, I believe, good going both ways. They're more leaning towards the garbage, like we do commercial garbage, where it's per dump. I told them what we do, we give people locks if they want them. We lock it in the morning, we lock it in the evening, or whatever, when they're not using it. When they got garbage, they unlock it, they throw it in there. And then we dump, I told them, on Tuesdays or Fridays, whatever. If we come down there to see it's locked, then we don't dump it, we don't charge it.
what kind of issues are we gonna have with the public down there just dumping bags of garbage because it's locked, laying it outside of it?
They won't, because we got our garbage cans down there. We do provide the beach
Right.
with our garbage cans. I don't see too big of an issue down there. That it's usually beach garbage that's in there. That I've seen from the past.
So I think you kind of have to treat them like you would any other business in town with a commercial dump.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. I mean, they were totally willing to.
They were comfortable with that. Sam said, if you're filling our garbage cans, you need to get your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were comfortable with that.
I got a question. We're talking about all this other stuff, but what are we talking about? How many times were the police down there last year? There were parking issues. I mean, what's being done about that? Because Ty, didn't you have quite a few calls down there last year you guys had to respond to every time?
No, it wasn't too bad down there. Parking was the issue. That was
Parking on the grass?
Yeah, and parking where they shouldn't be, and that, we've talked to employees about where they should park and whatnot, so. But yeah, it was more parking than it was calls. Actually, the calls actually cleaned up a little bit. We responded probably more to bike calls and disturbances down there than we did in July and August when it was open. I don't know if it was because I have a feeling that a lot of adults were bringing their kids down there and hanging out at the beach, so I think that took care of a few of the issues because there's probably 10, 15, I consider pretty responsible parents down there at a given time. But parking wasn't an issue, and it's always been an issue down there, so. But I don't think it's, it's not a, yeah, they've been pretty good to work with, so just the parking's been the biggest issue, so.
And the garbage?
I think we'll get that worked out. Garbage, nice thing is they did have surveillance cameras down there, so they did take care of some problems for us. Because of cameras, so it did help.
Okay.
Are there,
Tollway zones, you know, maybe that's, I was thinking about getting some signs, and if they're in any of the non-parking areas, that we would be able to just, if we put up some tollway signs, he doesn't even have to deal with it, just call it toll truck.
Yeah, the one issue was, unfortunately, a lot of people complain that our tickets are expensive. However, a lot of people we dealt with in the cities were like, well, if it's a $20 ticket, I'll let my car park there. I pay $45 for parking in the city. So if I save me from walking from the top, it's worth the $20. I mean, that's the attitude of a lot of people.
Yep.
We run into it at Giants Ridge too, where it's $20 is cheap to park right next door for the day. So you have that
Can we
too.
legally do a tollway zone without?
Yeah.
There are ways to do it, Mayor.
I can
Yeah,
guarantee that the fee's gonna be a lot more if it gets towed away than you parking there.
Yeah, exactly. And you do that a couple of times, word will get out, they'll stop.
And we did mention that to the Splash Town guys when we met with them, that that's what we were looking at doing, and if they're parked in a non-parking spot, and there's a tollway sign there, and the officer doesn't even have to come down there, he just goes, looks over the edge, oh, there's 4 people, all up the tow truck.
electricity, they'll be using a generator again?
Yeah, and as far as I know, we haven't said anything.
Okay. I don't know. What does everybody think? Would 150, raise it up to 150? I mean, I don't know what, plus tipping? Or include that in tipping?
50 a month, 200 a month, that's what I'd be looking at.
200 per month or
For the year?
season?
For the
For
season?
the year, then go 200 a month, 600 bucks, right?
Yeah.
$600 for the year?
Yeah.
We charged them 100 last year.
The 100 for the season, but that was a trial.
Introductory trial.
Yeah, that was a trial period, but
Because
I mean-
they're making money down there and we're not getting really anything off it, so.
No, and especially if
It's
we
not,
have to have the
you know,
police go down there, a couple times.
We're using our resources and
Yeah.
stuff, so.
So 200 a month then? And they're there 4 months? Are they June, July, August,
You did
September?
it monthly in the past, you did it.
we did
For
one
the season?
Yeah, if
Season.
you want to triple it or quadruple it or whatever, just
Should be
give us
six,
a number, whatever you're thinking.
I'd say 600.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah. Can reevaluate next year if it's.
Is that including garbage or is that
No,
plus
that would-
garbage?
Plus garbage would be that $40 base fee plus
We don't want
a
to,
lift.
I think that's a little steep for, I was thinking more like 200, well,
Total?
300 bucks just for the season, but,
And that's fine.
That's,
but,
but I don't know, we gotta start
I-
getting paid for this, for the
we've-
service we provide.
right.
You know, give everything away all the time.
Say if they wanted it, 600.
I'd say 600 too.
I guess since it was 100 last year, I would kind of lean more towards the 300. I don't know. There's not going to be much else going on down there this year. That's one thing that can bring people into that area, I guess. They're going to take care of their own garbage. So
That's the other concern, so if the water level gets dangerous to where the beach can't be open, then what happens to their splashdown? Because how would that be, if the beach can't be open, then we're gonna have problems if they're open and then people are going over to the beach.
So, Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
The language of the updated license agreement gives the city the ability to make judgment calls about the safety of the site. And if the city deems that it's unsafe or inappropriate, we can suspend the operations or cancel the permit or cancel the license.
Okay, that answers that.
Well, we've thrown a bunch of numbers out there, and I will make an official motion for $150 a month for 3 months. It's $450. It's a compromise between the 300 and the 600, and they're taking care of their own garbage. And they're definitely getting approval before remodeling the bank for any kind of dock that they put in there.
what do they get charged then per dump of garbage?
Same as every other.
Yeah, $12.
Yeah,
Okay.
40
So-
for the base to have it there and then 12 per lift.
but are they gonna use the 90 or 300?
They had the 300 last year.
They did, okay.
So it's
Yeah,
gonna
that
be
should
40 a
last
month
them
just to have the
week.
container and then
Yeah.
12 per?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
So that's 450 plus 120 plus the dump, plus the tip, excuse me, plus the tipping
Yeah.
fees.
Right. So that'd be enough, I guess.
So that's
yeah.
450,
that's
it's
fair, I think,
570
yeah.
plus tipping fees.
Right, yeah.
You're up to there.
Once a week, yeah, at least probably. So it's $12 more a week, yeah. So,
Are they supplying their own can, or are we giving them a can to use?
Garbage can? Oh, we give a can.
And they'll have a lock on it for them and stuff? Okay. Or the capability to be locked, I should say, anyway.
No, it will, it'll,
I would
So
second that.
150 a month?
Counselor Heitzman?
450. So 150 a month?
And I don't know, do they go into September? June, July, August, do
I
they?
thought that they would be going into September, but I don't know.
I mean, it's a,
You can go off of this at just 150 per month,
Yeah.
or, is that what you said? Is that what you said?
150
Yeah,
a month.
150 a
150 a
month
month.
plus garbage.
And this doesn't terminate till October 1st, so.
So if they pull out at the end of August, 31, then they don't pay for September. That's
Right.
all.
Yep.
So there's a couple modifications that need to be made on this, otherwise.
And I think I'm
So,
gonna go
yeah.
try and use it this year. I'm looking good in a Speedo, you know. I'm
Oh,
gonna be
God,
down
I
there.
wanna. All right,
The rescue squad ready.
Well, that's not good advertisement. Sorry, everybody.
so do you rescind your motion?
Yep.
So Counselor Polis rescinded his, and we have Counselor Heitzman's motion of 150 a month, plus garbage, plus the tipping. Correct?
Yep. 40 per month on the garbage and then 12 per lift on the dump. $12 per lift.
Correct. So the garbage is $40 and the tipping fees are $12
Yep.
per dump.
And I have to amend, or addition to this, addendum, giving them the permission to put that 10 by 20 approximate, whatever their,
Tent.
10 by
tent
20,
is.
yeah.
That was kind of an issue last year for, renting out our space. And giving them that permission to do that for birthday parties and things, because that's a great thing. If you're gonna have a birthday party down there with a bunch of 10-year-olds, you need shade.
I agree.
But only to the location that Sammy
Specified,
specified, so they can't move it across the beach or,
Yeah.
so. So, Counselor Heitzman's motion's 150 a month plus garbage, $40 monthly rate plus the tipping fees, $12 a dump, and allowing the 10 by 20 canopy. With the contingent agreement of Sammy and Mike for any altercations to their access to the water upon their approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Skinsich. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
1, motion carries 4-1. All right. So Sam, can you reach out to them
Yeah,
and see if they can figure that access out? All right, that's old business. Moving on to new business, AT&T contract renewal discussion.
Basically, AT&T would like to upgrade their equipment here from what they currently have. They've also put a generator that's down there that's outside of the area that you currently have contracted for. And so SEH feels that we're in a good position to renegotiate for a little higher fee. We're not going to get a hugely higher fee, but this is kind of the starting of the process. To start the process going, SEH would make contact with their corporate people that they work with regularly, and we would pay for that on an hourly basis. When it comes time to work on the changeover of the equipment and to inspect all their work and the things that go on there, in case they put new mounting plates on your water tower and have to come in and sandblast and clean them, or anything that would relate to what they do there, or the removal of any wires and coax that's on the tank now that will no longer be used. They'll be overseeing that in their escrow agreement, and that escrow agreement would be paid for by AT&T in the end. And that's how these are normally handled. And a third-party inspector like SEH or another engineering firm monitors the initial plan, and what's going to happen, and the oversight of the construction and the final inspections of the process. And so there's two different proposals that they gave us. The first one's just hourly, and, you know, Sam and I talked to him, and he felt that it would be good for them to provide us what it's going to cost us instead of it being open checkbook. And they limited that to a maximum of $3,000, and it's not going to be that much. It's just our initial contact with them to tell AT&T that we're going to be using a third party, and here's where we would like to go with it. And then from that point, the escrow agreement would be something that would be between AT&T and the city and SEH, and they would be doing the inspection work like a project manager, so to speak. And so those are the two that are on the agenda here. Does that sound exactly what we talked about, Sam?
Yeah, it does. It's, yeah, we kind of, it started off, we had a meeting with SEH about 3 months ago, and they were telling us some of the stuff that they offer, and one of SEH's engineers or whatever noticed we were on this list for an upgrade of equipment, because AT&T is updating all the equipment across the country. We're changing from one contract to different style equipment. And so then we set up another meeting, and Mike was in on it, and kind of, they helped us along how to, you know, bring everything forward, and I think it's a good deal. And there's also was another resolution that they wanted us to bring forward too, about the city has the first right to any tower. So nobody can sell, if they're in the city of Gilbert, nobody can sell land to anybody that wants to put up a cell phone tower or anything. First right of refusal.
Exclusive rights they want?
Yeah, so basically, part of the escrow agreement would be that as they write the new contract, that we would have first right of refusal if anybody else came to the city and said, oh, we're gonna build a tower over here. We could nix the idea because we want them on our water tower. We don't want additional towers built in.
So even if it's not on our land though, if it's on private property, how can we stop that?
I don't know. They would have to go this is saying more than anything. I think that somebody else could put equipment up there, or they could sublease their equipment to some other firm and get revenue where we didn't get a part of it.
So do you know, as part of their plan, they have a generator now on the ground? Is they gonna put a building there? Because I know
Not that I'm aware of, not that so.
over a year ago, they wanted to rent some space on the ground to do that. I don't know what happened with that plan. I heard it at a planning and zoning meeting that came up.
That we don't know that answer yet because we haven't made contact with them yet. So the first step in this journey would be for us to make contact with them and see, you know, overall what they're thinking. And
Yeah.
then once they develop a scope of work, then it'd go into the escrow thing. If they want to put a building there, that would give us another reason to raise the rates
Right.
that they have, but we should be able, because they're outside of the initial agreement, and because
Yeah.
we're upgrading their equipment, we should be able to bump
Right.
our monthly lease fee
Yep.
to them.
Right, yeah.
So part of this whole process is having them work it through to see what AT&T wants and how we would charge them for that, and then inspect the work as we go along.
So any charges that we get from the city on the city end, can we have them pay those, our expenses?
That would be part of the escrow agreement. The
Okay,
initial-
so you could write that in, that they're responsible for all
It would be
expenses
part of
approved
that
by the city?
agreement, yes.
Yeah, okay, right. I don't know, you must have ones you've done before on this, yeah.
And Mayor, if I could.
Yes.
And I do, I've worked in another local municipality, worked with the same provider on the same sort of project, and we were in that situation able to work in a direct reimbursement for the costs outlay that the city incurred
Oh,
in analyzing the project.
good, good,
And that's what SEH told us.
yeah, good. When are they gonna move on this?
Well, we need to move.
Oh.
We need to
initiate
approve it.
discussion. My understanding is they approached the city a couple of months ago, and they're waiting for a response
Oh,
from us.
okay.
And so for us to go down that road, they have specialists at SEH that this is
Yeah.
all she does, their tower leases and stuff, so once we approve that, we will move forward with her and reach out to them, and at that point, we'll get a better idea of what they're gonna do, but if they move forward with the project, which it appears that's what they're wanting to do and most likely going to do, then it
Yeah.
would be part of that escrow agreement, and as Brian says, we would have them pay all the
Right.
fees
Okay,
for the management.
yeah, yeah.
So we just need a motion to move forward with this then, or
Yeah,
is
one
that
for
what you're
the
looking at?
consulting agreement, one for the other one.
Okay,
I'll make a motion, I guess, to move forward with the consulting agreement.
I'll support.
Motion by Counselor Skinsich, supported by Counselor Pulis to move forward with the consulting agreement. And that's with SEH
Yes, it is.
to move forward with the AT&T water tower upgrades.
Correct.
Could I have a second?
Yeah, me.
Counselor
that.
Pulis, yeah. It's getting late. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 5-0.
I'll make a motion to approve the, moving forward with the escrow agreement.
Support.
Motion by Counselor Heitzman, supported by Counselor Pulis to go ahead with the escrow agreement. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 5-0.
The next thing in the packet is the campground proposal. I was unaware of this. I discussed it with the mayor. He said that you guys have been talking to them, you know, talking about upgrading the campground and doing some different work there. They gave us a proposal. It's not really expensive, it's not really cheap, but I would suggest that if you want to move forward and do something at the campground, that we would apply for funding with maybe the DNR and the IIID maybe we can get this paid. I don't think we have a budgeted amount put in the budget to do this, but if you desire to move forward, I think Sam probably knows a little bit more about it than I do. 'Cause
Yeah,
he
and
was
I
here.
can explain, I guess I didn't realize it was on the agenda either until I seen the agenda. But, you know, one of the things is we never really finished our comp plan down at the campground. You know, they had some really good ideas. I think it was done in 2020. Part of the stuff they didn't finish was the rec center area, the baseball fields. That was all supposed to be included in that whole comp plan. And then you use those comp plans to go out for different federal funding for campgrounds, for parks and rec areas, different, from what I know, different grants become available when you have a completed. This would be what it would take to complete ours. I know we talked to Matt, first when he came on to the city about it. I think me and Tom and Bob went down at the campground. That road leading into the campground is terrible. It needs a lot of storm sewer. It needs a lot of road reconstruction. Turning into the pit, or turning into the campground. That old campground outer loop needs to be done. I know there was talk at one time going down to the beach and widening that road, because there's so many people that walk up and down that hill, because that's the only access for campers, plus a lot of residents use it, a lot of kids are walking up. Well, we got 2 lanes of traffic coming up and down it, there's really no walking path. I think this comp plan would include all of that, clean up what was started, and give us guidance and opportunity to go and get some grant money when it's complete. Now, like Mike mentioned too, is maybe we can talk to SDH a little bit about this proposal, and maybe there's some funding we can go for to finish up this proposal. I don't know where, if we table it, if you know. for
So,
opportunity.
are you just looking for a motion to go ahead and go out for the funding, try to get some
Well,
funding, or?
I guess we can look at several different ways, and it's up to the council to decide how you'd like to proceed, but Sam is correct that, you know, once you have a plan drawn up and stuff, then you can go to DNR Legacy, you can go to USDA, you could go to the IRRB, you might be able to go to some other state agency. I've seen Blandon Foundation fund recreational things like this. So there are other people that you can go out and apply for grants. Typically, if you have a grant and there's some matching fund things happening, this money is considered to be part of your match. So if you spend money on engineering and design, you can usually get that money back, or at least use it for your share of whatever you have to match to do the project. So
And that was originally why we did that comp plan, was for this purpose, to go for funding.
Yeah, and that's
But it wasn't finished.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my understanding was what your desire was. If you would like to move forward with that, we could, or we could just talk to them and step back a little bit. We're not in a huge rush. I mean, we could talk to SEH and say, if we did this plan, where do you think we could find some funding? And we could come back with some ideas, or we could move forward with it and go that direction. It's kind of up to the council.
The biggest thing that I see is this is a huge part of our revenue in Gilbert, so we need to do whatever we have to make this work. My opinion is we just move forward, but.
I would be okay too if the council wanted me and Mike to get some more information. Maybe that's something that can come here too, to the next council meeting. But, you know, if there's some more information to do for the council meeting, you know, for the next meeting, I'm prepared to forward.
Yeah.
Or if you're, you know, if you're comfortable that it's an enterprise activity that's been beneficial for the city, and we'd like to move forward and start on the journey to get this done, we can do that too. So either way, we're gonna seek funding, you know, so it's just a matter of when do you want to start on the journey, basically. You know, if you guys want to, you know, take the leap, then we can start right away. If you want to be more cautious, we can look at some other things, but I can tell you this, I can't guarantee any kind of funding without having a plan to apply for the funding
Right.
with. So,
It's gotta be
as
completed.
Councilor Pula says, this has been a high priority for the city, so if you want to move forward, just make a motion, whatever you guys want to do. You know?
I know parts of that plan were kind of, so I don't know if you could focus on just parts of the plan when you know, chop it up or whatever, because parts of the plan were probably you're not able to do. I mean, they were talking about trails around the pit and everything like that. It was probably not ever gonna work. So I don't know if you could chop up the plan and just focus on
You can.
different, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have
Yeah.
to, you can have a master park plan or a master vision, and you can apply for funding based on the estimates and things that you're gonna work on.
Right, yeah.
So you can get those numbers from your engineering firm, you don't have to go to public bid to fund those things, because they have a pretty good idea what it's gonna cost you.
Yeah.
Then you go ahead and apply, and if you get the funding and you wanna move forward, then it goes out for public bid.
I know
I guess
Paul
I-
might have some information on that too.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yeah.
So this was actually something that our now no longer organized campground board did actually take up in 2023. We left a pretty long list of wish list items. I've got several notes on it. But we passed this to the council unanimously, recommending that this plan would be restarted and the process kind of relooked at, mostly for the funding reasons. There were some things that were pretty high on the list, the access from the campground to the beach, because of the ADA implications in it. You have to have a plan before you can start going after some of those funding sources. There was a number of different things that were in here. I would be more than happy to sit down with Sam and Mike and share these notes, although they should be part of public record anyway, since we forwarded them over a past couple of years. But I can easily compile these and share them so that, you know, before this kind of kicks off, that they at least have the kind of the full scope. I know that the Bar Associates plan was never fully completed or adopted, and we've noted a lot of things along the way. A good example is the special events camping area. There were some things in the current footprint that we were limited to do because we didn't have full facilities in, say, the rec center, and so we have to bring in porta potties, so that was part of the connectivity. There was some event things with the arena that specifically Crawl for the Cure or some of the other events. There were some requests for electrical upgrades and other things that would be part of this that was never kind of fully connected with the master plan. So I would be more than happy to sit down with, you know, whomever before this moves forward, but the plan itself, re-looking at it and kind of reimagining it, or it's a must-have if the city is going to continue to focus on tourism as an industry and off-roaders and like all that stuff. This has to be done at some point.
As Sam said too, if we start working on it, if you decide to retain SEH to do a comprehensive park plan overview here, we can take the input from the previous group and from the members of the council. We can have them come into a working session and kind of show us what they're thinking, and then people can comment and add any other ideas that are on the table that could be integrated into the master plan. So
I guess I'd like to make a motion to move forward with putting a plan together to get this moving.
And that's, I would second that, understanding that it's this proposal by SEH that we're.
Yes.
And after we approve this, we still have that ability right there, you know, in task 1.1, virtual meeting and helping to shape this scope of this plan.
Correct.
Because it's not a secret that it does need to move forward.
Right.
And
Big source of
it's
Gilbert.
been, yeah.
So I will second that motion. Counselor Poe.
Motion by Counselor Polis, supported by Counselor Heitzman to move forward with SEH's proposal for the Sherwood Forest park planning, proposed scope of service and fee. Any further discussion?
Well, yeah, you know, we're gonna have to put out some money probably in the front end here. It's 24,000 plus other, I guess we'll have to hopefully get that back, but in the meantime, we have to take it from somewhere. And the campground fee is kind of spoken for, you know,
I
that.
believe, right now, and I know I did talk when Joe was here about this, because this has kind of been up for, I've discussing with Matt for quite a while. It sounded like there was an extra like 40 grand in the rec department. You know, I don't know, that's what Joe mentioned, and at one point, no, we borrow out of that rec department fund for this and then put it back later on when the campground fund gets full.
I do remember her saying that there was.
Maybe that's what you can.
We'll have to look at the budget and see. I guess
Yeah.
I can find it somewhere like you always can, but.
And the problem is, or the
Yeah.
hiccup is that you can't apply for the grants and the funding assistance if you don't have something
Oh, I know.
on paper
I
in
know.
place. So
That's-
it's,
I know.
you know, putting.
Catch-all. But
And that also too is we're not really doing a project this year down at the campground fund. All the projects are kind of done. Yeah, we got some dirt work down there. Maybe about 6-8 loads of dirt here the last couple of days. But, you know, as far as big projects, where match money, you know, we don't have that this year. So.
right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 5-0. Okay, the Abdo
I'll make a motion. to
payroll
approve.
proposal.
Support.
Motion by Counselor Polis, supported by Counselor Heitzman to go ahead with the Abdo payroll system. Correct?
Correct.
Any further discussion?
I don't know if Mike wants to tell the public on camera what we're doing here so they have an idea what.
Basically, we've been using paychecks for many years, and the system.
I don't know if they can hear you, Mike. I know you might have to get close to that mic, yeah.
Basically, the city has worked with a company called Paychecks for many years, 15, 20 years. They've been handling our payroll stuff. We've had a lot of problems with it. It doesn't run really smooth. It doesn't do all the things that we need to have done. And if we switch to another company, it'll be beneficial for the city. It'll cut the steps that we currently do from 3 to 4 steps down to 1 step. It'll streamline the operation, and it'll keep everything in excellent order and allow us to have them make any necessary journal entries, and it'll lower our audit costs at the end of the year, because typically we've had our audit firm taking care of that for us. So we're trying to streamline operations and make it work more smoothly, and they do a really nice job, and it should be a good change for everybody.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I guess I'd just throw out there that the cost difference between the paychecks and the Abdo is, over the course of the year, is insignificant in the amount of time that it's gonna save. So it's actually an investment in saving time and energy and having a streamlined product that's cohesive and transferable down the road.
Right, and
It's
probably auditing costs too, it'll reduce.
It sounds like it's an end-user friendly system that's gonna just facilitate the peaceful transfer of power, so to speak.
Exactly. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 5-0. And moving on to Jasper Engineering.
Sam.
These are a couple of valves. We've been having issues down at the sewer plant with running hard over the last couple months here. And we think there's some issues with some of the permeate valves. We've been working with Kubota and Scantech over the last, let's say, 2 months trying to figure out why we can't put through max flow. I mean, we're close, but we're still about 100,000 gallons short. What we should be putting to 150 from what our max flow is, and we believe it's has to do with the permeate valves. And so I think the cycle duty was like 300 to 400,000 cycles. They're good for at that. Kind of the math that me and Peter Daniels did. So we just need some maybe like 4,400. Proposal I don't have in front of me, but
4,453.88.
2,000. Yep.
So what is, new valves are gonna open up bigger so you can allow more effluent through it? Is that what you're saying?
Close. What's happening is when the membrane goes into the relaxed cycle, the other valves aren't closing tight. And it's creating like a vacuum or an air push. So they don't start to relax or the cycle later on once it's already started. So
'Cause they're leaking?
the cycle.
They're leaking?
That's 90 seconds it needs, it's maybe getting 30. So we're losing on that.
Or is it a different type of valve then, or what?
Yeah, actually we bought one of these probably about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and that valve didn't work really well.
I'll move to approve.
Moved by Councillor Skinsich, supported by Councillor Pulis, to approve the purchase of 2 valves for the amount of $4,453.88. Any further discussion? And that's with Jasper, correct?
Yeah,
Jasper Engineering and Equipment Company.
So they're just providing the valve, are they coming to put them in too?
No, we're gonna try to put them in.
Okay. So for the purchase through Jasper. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None. Motion carries 5-0. And we'll move on to the Carlson water meter opt-out request.
My understanding that you had a customer come to the city a few years back, and they had issues with the RF communications that are coming through the meters, and felt it was causing health problems in the packet here. Since it's expiring, they're making a request to continue with the non-radio meter. I believe Sam is charging them extra money to go read that meter. Is that correct, Sam?
I don't even know.
Yeah, there was.
Doesn't she report it? Doesn't she call it in, the readings?
No.
Will you actually go there and look at it?
Yeah.
That's why there was an upcharge in it, because he had to still physically go there to read that.
I'll move.
Support.
Making that same
Yeah.
request.
It's moved by Councillor Pulis, supported by Councillor Heitzman, to approve the application for the electric meter opt-out request from Janelle Carlson. Any further discussion?
Electric and water.
Electric and water? Okay.
And I'm glad that she was on top of it enough to reapply, and I would encourage her to be that diligent in 3 years from now. Good job, Janelle.
Exactly. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 5-0. And on to the utility billing clerk job posting.
This has been sitting in limbo for quite some time, and there were some issues related to it, why that probably was the way it was. The mayor and I met with Attorney Lindsay and went over several different HR issues that we had and a bunch of other questions on other things that we were looking at. He assures me that at this point here, there's nothing stopping us from posting that job and moving forward to fill that position.
Move.
Support.
Moved by Counselor Pulis, supported by Counselor Heitzman to approve moving forward with the utility billing clerk job posting. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None. Motion carries 5-0.
Are you gonna set up a hiring committee now?
With the hiring, yeah, we'll post it.
Wait until then.
Same
before
as
you-
we're doing with the.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's got to post internally for so many days, but
Probably Sam. I'll make sure that it's done correctly.
All right.
Because it's a union position, right?
yes.
Yep. All right, moving on for summer help for Public Works. Ed,
We had two applicants. These are the two applicants that we received. Kevin Lyons has been done an excellent job for us for the last maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years. And then Matthew Lund, I did not have a chance to call him, but it all depends on how many the council wants to hire at this time. I know we've had 2 in the past. Last year was the first year we only had 1, I believe. It's up to the council. We really need 1 for sure. Could always use 2, so it's up to council.
I'll make a motion to approve for 2.
I'll support.
motion, Counselor Pulis, supported by Counselor Heitzman to approve the hire of 2 summer help. Is the applications process done or the,
They're in hand.
okay, we got the application, but any more, is it still open for further?
No.
It's closed, these are it.
When I come to council with them, it's closed, it's been closed out for
Okay. To approve the hiring of summer help. Any further discussion?
Yes, yeah, I can't agree with this. You know, if we had a schedule, we have 7 people that could be mostly weed whacking and some hand mowing. I can't believe out of 7 people, we can't take care of that without hiring 2 extra people in the summer. If we had a schedule, I know we could do it with room to spare. And I don't know why this city runs without a schedule. Sam, maybe you can answer that.
What do you mean a schedule?
A schedule. If you had somebody, say, mow for 4 hours and then go weed whack for 3 or something like that. So you could take care of all the weed whacking, what these people do for the summer help. With 7 people, we still need 9 people to take care of this tiny little town. It's hard to believe. I just don't get it.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we used to hire 4 summer help.
Yeah, well, that doesn't
And then
make it
we used to
right.
have another 2
Yeah.
people in public.
Yeah, but
works.
then what do the regular employees do? Stand around and watch them do what they could be doing?
No, we're,
I don't see it. I'll vote
The
against
motion's
it.
on the table, it's just.
Yeah.
Motion by Counselor Pulis, supported by Counselor Heitzman to approve the hiring of 2 summer help.
We could have spent that $12,000 to put windows in your building over there. That's what it comes to, $6,000 apiece. We're just throwing money away. Unnecessary. This has got to stop in this town.
All right, motion's on. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
1, motion carries 4-1. And the accepting of the donation from Approved Plumbing, I believe. Both.
I
Yep.
think, I apologize here, guys. I didn't know if this was the first time that this has happened, or if you had previously handled this. But typically, if the city accepts a donation from any organization, whether it's a gambling entity or, fire relief, anybody like that, we're supposed to do that by resolution. There's nothing stopping us from having a resolution for this at our next meeting. I didn't realize you hadn't dealt with the gentleman before, so I would suggest that we table this and do it by resolution.
Okay, we'll just table it.
Yeah. So item H has been tabled. And we'll move on to Greg Knudsen Consulting Proposal.
When I came in here, there were so many things that, we really didn't know where the bodies are hidden, so to speak, or where the financial documents you're used to seeing, or what our audit firm would like to see from us, or anything like that. The mayor suggested that Greg Knudsen retired from our audit firm, and he might be willing to come in and work with us to make sure everything gets done and we get the things that we want, so that when we get to our audit, everything is in order. I have met with Greg. He's not willing to come in and talk to us until our audit is complete, because he works for them. He feels that's a conflict. He's currently helping the city of Evlith go through a similar type of thing. I don't think we're gonna need him for much time, but I do think on some of the items when we talk about creating cost centers to see where we're spending our time and money, that he would be very beneficial to help us pull that together. And so I'd like to be able to have him approved if we need him, and we're gonna work on something. I would let the council know, but I would think that he'd be a good choice. The mayor brought it to me, I met with him. I think it would be beneficial for the city, so I don't see it being a big expense, but
Do we need to approve this with a cap on it?
if
So
you
that
want, if you wanna do it that way, you can.
I don't think anyone doubts
I'm not gonna
that.
surprise you and.
Yeah, I don't think anyone says that or is intimating that, but
No,
just
I know that.
knowing that,
Yeah, whatever you feel comfortable with. If you wanna make the motion with the cap of,
how can we phrase that? Just mayoral approval work with you, Mike, to do that? I mean, I would make the motion. I'm excited to see Greg on board because he's excellent at what he does and he's familiar with how we do things, and
I'll support it.
But what's your cap? What's?
Yeah,
you
what's-
didn't
I didn't, I
finish-
just-
you
I
didn't
just
finish the
Just
motion
with
yet.
discretion.
with
Yeah.
Mike and Tom to approve Greg's
I
showing
just-
up here.
I just think Mike knows enough about what he needs and saving money, and he's not gonna overdo it. I think it's just unlimited.
Well, and that's why-
Whatever Mike needs is how I feel.
and I'm
Yeah.
willing to report on Tom to
Right.
make sure we.
I mean, he's right down the
Yeah.
hall.
Exactly.
He's right
Again, I'm
here.
gonna surprise you and
Right.
say, oh, here's $4,000.
Okay, I mean, he's-
And it's gonna be a few hours.
Use your judgment.
Did he ever mention an hourly rate or?
Yeah, it's in here.
It's
Not right there,
He did,
$120.
okay, I did not see that, perfect.
So, second,
So motion by Counselor Heitzman, supported by Counselor Polis, to allow the hiring of Greg Knudsen for consulting. Concerns at the discretion of interim clerk Skirbick. Fair?
And Mayor Smith.
And Mayor Smith. Fair?
Working together.
Working together, exactly. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 5-0.
If I may, Mayor, I have 3 items I'd like to address real quick. Don't want to take much time. Number 1, I'd like to make the announcement that the Memorial Day will be on the 27th of May, same as usual, 10 o'clock at the cemetery. And I'm inviting the mayor to be on the program to give the welcoming, if you would. Tom?
Yeah,
Can
pardon
we
me?
count on you to put that on the agenda?
When was this?
27th, Monday.
27th.
Memorial Day.
I'm
Just
gonna be-
making the announcement that it's public, that everybody knows that we're having it as same as usual at the cemetery, 10 o'clock.
So
If we
that's,
could count on you, or if you
I was
can't
gonna
make
be
it,
out of town.
can you appoint somebody in your place?
Somebody be able to step in,
I would appreciate it,
the 27th.
so we can put it on the program.
Mondays are
I think someone in uniform would be fantastic.
Beg pardon?
Have you seen me in a uniform? I don't look nearly as good as chief teacher.
Somebody from the vets could probably,
Well, we run the program, but it's just nice to have a representative
Yep.
speaking for the
I
town.
did it last year, I do
Yes.
believe, and,
But you'll be out of town?
yeah, what time?
10 o'clock. Monday, the 27th. That's just a week and a half away. Can you send somebody in your place if you can't make it? That's all I'm asking.
I'll be there.
Okay, thank you. The other thing is, I noticed that on the range, we have filings for the council, and I didn't see Gilbert's in the home.
They were posted on Friday. I found out that as I was talking to somebody, the election was forthcoming.
Yes.
I reached out to the county, they gave me what we needed to do. The postings are in the display here, and they're with the newspaper.
Okay.
So
I just didn't see it in the home focus.
we are moving forward with that, and we have an election coming for a mayor and 2 council members.
Right. Just to clarify the situation, to take the cobwebs out. Third one is I'd like to thank the council for giving us the money for the flowers, and we have 8 volunteers to plant. We normally plant after the frost is over, probably right around Memorial Day, and my son is going to take over. I'm too old, so I thank you for that. I think that came right around $500, and we'll do the same as we always have. We got some ladies that volunteered from town and out of town, so that's all I have. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Leo. And miscellaneous announcements?
We still got a K&L here.
Yep, yep, you're right.
that's right.
So the Great Lakes,
I make a motion to approve the hiring of Great Lakes Pipe Service to clean and video inspect 10,000 lineal feet of pipe as per the quote provided by Mr. Lotiger.
I'll second.
motion by Councilor Heitzman, supported by Councilor Skinsich to approve the hiring of Great Lake Pipe Service, Inc. for the scoping of 10,000 feet at, now, is this their rate gonna change, or is that their quoted rate?
Our full contract.
With the contract from Great Lake Pipes. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 5-0. And the 3 building permits.
There's one for Toxnick for a garage application. That was recommended for approval. There's one for Grahek for a fence application. And that was asked for approval.
I thought that one was done a
Last
while
meeting.
back.
Last meeting.
Yeah, we approved that,
Yeah,
I think,
that
a
one's
while ago,
already
but
approved.
2 meetings ago?
Might have.
We did, yeah.
Okay.
Planning commission
I'll make a
What
motion
happened
to,
at their meetings.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve all three, because
Yeah.
obviously they recommended it, so.
What was the third one?
My neighbors are putting up an addition to their house.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She happens to be on the Flanagan zoning board.
Yeah, yeah, so that's the third edition.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll second.
To the American
Motion.
Shooting residents.
yeah. Motion by Counselor Polis, supported by Counselor Skinsich to approve the 3 permits from planning and zoning for Kerry Schutte, the Protashnik,
Grahek.
and Grahek.
There's Protopnik, Grahek, and Shaw.
And, yeah,
Shooty.
Sure.
Schutte.
Is it Shooty?
Yeah, should be Schutte. Okay, any further discussion?
This guy?
All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, say nay.
You should read it.
None, motion carries 5-0.
We're not having good results with him, but you can.
All right, now anything miscellaneous?
Yeah, is that a thing, yeah? Do we wanna? This is from it was in our working packet, we didn't get to it.
Yeah.
What was it?
Oh, yeah,
What was it?
it was pertaining to the building that had burned here, residents
yeah.
complaining about the odor.
Maybe Brian knows about that, because they have those in Virginia, I know, but.
Yeah,
So here's my proposal, is to just table this until Attorney Lindsay can look into what we can do about it.
I'm good with that.
and,
Well-
yeah, I don't know that we can with the
No,
insurance.
maybe we could just discuss it off, you know.
Can't discuss anything until we know.
There's a building that burnt on the main street here, and the neighbor's complaining because he's getting a lot of smells and everything else from it.
And
Can
drawing
we, can we do
pigeons.
anything to make, the previous owner or the owner tear it down?
Yeah, there is a process.
There's a step by step, isn't there?
Yeah, it can get a little bit long depending on how you do it. But the city has the ability under, I think it's the statutory provision, it's section 457 or 459, to declare it a hazardous structure and go through that process. The downside to that process is it can potentially take up to 120 days to get through the initial part of it. But essentially the way that it works is the city would declare the building to be a hazard to public safety. We would direct that the owners abate the unsafe or hazardous condition. And if they don't, then at the close of that period, the court or the city would go to court, have its order confirmed, and then the city could go onto the property, do whatever the city believes is appropriate to remedy the situation and charge the cost back to the property owners.
Brian, can we secure the
Yes.
property now to make sure it's safe while we're engaged in this process?
Yes, the city does have the ability to secure and make it safe.
So we can hire a contractor to go in there and board up the holes and stuff?
Board up the holes.
So what
Do we
deems it
know who the
unsafe
owner is?
At that, once things
Well-
are boarded up.
Lops?
Yeah.
So a phone call to them to initiate
Yeah.
what,
It'd be a contract.
are they waiting for insurance? Are they
Tony
waiting
Lop.
for,
Okay.
it's,
no insurance.
No insurance he has.
It's a rental, isn't it?
it's rental property, yeah, but,
Was.
Rental property and the building's empty now.
right.
The guys from the cities or something?
You know, how do you squeeze blood out of a turnip?
Yeah, he doesn't have any.
But how do we know that for sure? I mean, if he's waiting for an insurance claim or something, we shouldn't jump the gun. We should probably reach out and talk to him.
He didn't have insurance when it was rented and had the fire. That's the problem.
I think the first step would be initiate a letter that's in so many days to
Yeah.
fix it. If you don't do so many days to fix it, then we will go and board it.
Exactly.
I mean, that's where I think it needs to start. I don't know who's the one who does
The-
the initiation of the letter.
If the council would like, I could do an initial letter to him.
Yep.
It wouldn't, what I would recommend, perhaps what I'd recommend is this. If we set that as an item on the next agenda for formal consideration during a meeting, I can write a letter to the property owner and indicate that their property is going to be a subject of the next meeting and invite them to attend and contact and communicate.
Yes.
Sure.
That's typically a good first step. It's a good process though.
Yep.
What's the name on this?
Tony, Anthony Law, Anthony, yeah,
LOPP,
yeah,
two Ps, LOPP.
2 Ps, yeah.
So, yeah, we'll put that on.
Excellent.
Next,
I have a
next
feeling-
Make a
meeting.
motion to adjourn?
I have a feeling we're gonna end up approving that
So
cost.
then, just so we deal with the final planning commission thing, no matter how the hearing and everything, we're just gonna table that until further notice, because you didn't vote on whether
Right, we didn't.
that amendment or not. We didn't add it to the agenda because I didn't know what you wanted to do. We can either add it next time, but so far we're tabling it then.
Yeah, we'll table for the result.
I just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
So we had the public hearing, we don't have to have that again.
No.
So we're tabling, yep.
Yeah, so we're not
No, we're not
delaying them
changing
at
it.
I just
all.
didn't want to delay that, I just
Yeah.
wanted to be.
By not taking any action, are we delaying them now by another 2 weeks?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, because they have their MPCA,
To follow some.
But I will
Soil.
communicate with them tomorrow and tell them where they're at.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
see, and then if they decide that they would like me to move forward with the MPC, I'll initiate that.
I mean, the informal consensus is that it's a
So-
non-issue to
in
change.
that case, is it
Yeah.
up to the city to go for brownfield money?
We would
Or is
do
it
that,
up to
yeah,
them?
we would be the fiscal agent and
Oh.
apply for that.
Okay, yeah. And that's where it's heading, it sounds like.
I think that'd be the approach that I would advise you to follow.
Yeah, right.
I think it's the most likely to have a positive outcome and get cleaned
when
up.
they determined that it was saturated, did they drill or they
No, this
just?
is phase one, and phase one is really, it's a survey and an information. People always think, oh, we're doing an environmental review. It's really a historical overlook. And when you go there and you see oil on the ground, you say, oh, there's a gas station there. Oh, they've worked on cars here. There's hydraulic fluid here. Then that initiates a phase two, which is really your environmental review.
Yeah.
You don't want to go to phase two until you go to the brownfield fund, because if you, they'll pay for the phase two usually. So this is a stepping off point, and it's really a review of activities there, of known activities for the life of that property. And so the next step is to move towards a brownfield thing, so.
Is that a
I'll
state
look into
agency?
that. I've already reached out to them to see, but we'll go from there.
Is that a state funding source of
Perfect.
brownfield?
It is.
Support.
Okay.
Go ahead. I think someone has a motion to.
Yeah, I did a motion to adjourn.
Yep.
Yeah, motion by Counselor Heitzman, I was gonna call you Skinsey. Heitzman, supported by Counselor Polis, to adjourn our regular council meeting at 8:21 PM. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 5-0. Meeting adjourned.